Hi everyone! Today I thought we'd make a sunflower card together. What I've done is I've cut out most of my bits and I've already done what I need to do to them, so I'll talk you through that in a while. I'll show you the products that I'm going to be using, but at the end of this video I'm going to be showing you how I do my layered stamping, floral stamping. Now this is a sunflower stamp that I got from It's Just Paper by Justine Hovey, and it comes with these 4 layered stamps and then the dies to cut them out. So we're going to do that right at the end when we finished putting this card together. So we'll pop that to one side. I'm using I have used the Sunflower Parade Exquisite Sunflowers for my background. So this is going to be the background. And I've stamped that in the VersaFine Claire Black Onyx. That is that stamp. That's a lovely, lovely big stamp. It's 3 3/4 by 5, just over 5 1/4 when that one's stamped. That is a beautiful stamp. So that's going to be my background piece. I also got this Sentimentally Yours sunflower, but I'm not going to use this one today because I don't want all the stars and everything around this one. So I'm going to pop that to one side. I'm also going to be using the Especially For You Sentiment Edge collection, and I'm using the smaller one from the two. So what I've actually done is I've cut out the backing in white and the Especially For You in the yellow to go over the top. So this is really, really nice size dies. So I've already done that. For one of the layers I've used the embossing folder, and this is called Quintessentially Quilted, and that actually embosses beautifully. This is a lovely 8x8 embossing folder, so you are going to need one of your bigger die cutting machines for this. And for the papers, or the background papers, I've chosen stunning colours from Sentimentally Yours. I've chosen the really bright yellow, and then I've chosen this one that looks like a burnt orange. So this is the cardstock that I'm going to be using. So to put this card together, so I'm going to be making a 5x7 card for this project. So you're going to need to cut yourself a piece of cardstock 10 inches in width by 7 inches in depth. You need to fold this and score this in the middle, and there is your card base. My first matte layer is going to be the beautiful burnt orange, and I've cut this at 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and this is going to be adhered to the card. The next layer is going to be a yellow, the beautiful yellow, which is 4 1/2 by 6 1/2, and this is going to sit on top. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to glue this yellow piece using a tacky glue onto my first layer. Move this out the way, making sure you get a nice even border all around the edges. There we go. And then this one I am going to raise with foam tape. So as always, we pop the foam tape around the edges on all 4 sides. Then we pop a piece down the centre on an angle, and a couple of pieces either side, and this stops the card from buckling in the middle. Give your tape a good press down. Just remove the tape back in. Now if you're not confident with lining things up, you can always leave your tape around the edges and only peel it off halfway, which gives you a little bit of scope for lining things up. About there. So there's our first mat and layer done. We are now going to add this white piece of embossed card, and the reason I've done this in white is because I think with most cards that have lots going on, you need some white to break up those colours. So I quite like adding a white layer to my projects. So popping this one down, and that's our white layer. So with the burnt orange layer, we're going to adhere our stamped image. Pop this one on, and I'll give you the measurements for all these mats and layers. I've done this. You'll see once I've popped the stamped image onto the burnt orange cardstock, we've got a tiny border all the way around, and this enables me to glue the base of my sentiment onto one of the edges. And you need to do this before we adhere this to the card, otherwise you won't be able to cut the ends off properly. So just adhere this quite centrally onto the edge of the card. So with your next layer, we're just going to pop this straight over the top like so. And how I like to do this, I like to pop a bit of glue down on my glass mat, and we'll go in and we'll just pick up some bits of glue. So lining this up, and then pop down your top layer. Let's get that one lined up a bit better. So there's our sentiment lined up on the side of our card. Now we just need to chop off the ends. So if we just go straight across on both ends, we now have our sentiment adhered to our card. So the sizes of the white embossed layer was 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So the size of the burnt orange matte layer was 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/2. And then the stamped topper was the size of the stamp, which is 3 3/4 by 5, just over 5. I think it's 5 3/4. I think I cut, no, 5 1/2. I think I cut that down a little bit. And this is actually going to now sit on our card. We are also going to raise this on foam tape. So again, all around the edges. This is not a very wide span, so I'm just going to pop a piece in the center. Again, give that a nice press down. Remove your backing tape. And we're going to pop this on the front of our card, right way round. Now, making sure that your sentiment doesn't overhang the edge of the card, and line that one up just so. So this is where we are at the moment. So that's popping all those mats and layers together, and in itself that is a lovely card. You just need to put a sentiment on there, but I want to show you how I do my layering stamped floral images. So I'll just get that ready and I'll be right back. So I've got my stamping platform ready and I've got my stamps, and you'll notice that what I do is I number them. So this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, and this is number 4. So taking your first stamp, and you'll also notice with my stamps that one of the edges are a bit inky. That's because I popped a permanent marker pen just at the top of the stamp, so I know that this is the top. And I'm going to take in a piece of scrap paper and I'm going to lay this down on my stamping platform, and with the inky part up I'm going to lay down my stamp. I'm going to pick that up. Now I'm going to be using the Prism Buttercup and the Prism Tangerine. The Distress Oxides don't seem to do a real bright yellow, so I've decided I wanted to use the Prism inks. So I'm going to start with the Tangerine, and I'm going to ink up my stamp. I'm going to bring this across, so you will see that there are areas that will be missed. So taking in number 2, which is this one down here. And again, you'll see this is where my little dark mark is. So line up your mark over the top of your first stamp. Pick that one up. And this time I'm going to do this in the Buttercup. So give your stamp a nice stamp up with the ink. And we're going to go over the top with the Buttercup. So already we've got a two-tone going on with the sunflower. Then we're going to take the number 3, which is this one. And here's the top marking that I made, which I'm going to place at the top. Pick that one up, and I'm going to go back over that one with a tangerine colour. So give your stamp a nice ink up, back over. You can now start to see how that sunflower is really starting to fill in. And the last one, number 4, I'm going to pop this one right over, lining that one up, and I'm going to do this one again in the tangerine, so the darker one of the two. Give that a nice stamp up and give that a nice press down. And there's our stunning sunflower. We're going to give that a couple of seconds to dry, which will give me a chance to clean up all my stamps. So bringing back in this sunflower, we can do even more to this if we want to. I'd like the centre of this to have more of a brown centre, so I'm going to take my Tri-Blend Spectrum Noir pens and I'm just going to put some dots just randomly in those white areas. Don't have to do them all. So this is now ready to be cut out. The die that comes in the kit, this is the die that cuts out this sunflower, and on the back you'll notice at the top I've marked it again with a permanent marker pen so that I know when I pop this over the top of my sunflower it will cut that out perfectly. And just pop a piece of tape down. I'm just going to run that through my die cutting machine and I will be right back. Which is now going to sit on top of the card. I'll just pop all this to one side. Like so. I think we'll raise it with some foam pads. And what you could also do with this, if you stamped the image 3 or 4 times, you could actually turn this into decoupage and decoupage up some layers. But for this card, I think there's enough depth going on already. Just taking off those pad back-ins. There we go. Decide which way you want your sunflower to go. And I think mine is going to go right there. So there we go. Beautiful sunflower card. We've done some stamping, we've done some inking, we've die cut the sentiment. And I think all there is to add to this card is a few random gems. Pick up our gem, pop that in the middle. And there's our sunflower card. Really looking forward to the summer. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. I hope I've given you a few tips and you've maybe learnt something. Until the next time, thank you for watching. Bye for now.